next topic. Our next speaker is Shri Sudhanshu Shekhar ji, and he'll be speaking on the topic Ajnana in Sushupti as per Naishkarmya Siddhi. Very warm welcome to you, Sudhanshu ji. Thank you for making time for the session. Just a brief introduction. Sudhanshu ji is Additional Commissioner of Income Tax in Pune. He's from Bihar and has done his BTech in Mechanical Engineering from IIT Kanpur. Subsequently, he cleared civil service examination and was selected for Indian Revenue Service. And as I said, he currently serves as Additional Commissioner of Income Tax in Pune. He has also completed his LLB from Mumbai University. He is a student and seeker of Advaita Vedanta who tries to live the teachings in accordance with Vivarana Prasthana. Thank you again, Sudhanshuji. Please go ahead and start your session.
Thank you, Nitinji, for inviting me for giving a talk on this topic. Fine. So I will just start with a Mangalacharan shloka, which appears in the commentary on Naishkarmya Siddhi, which is written by Chitsukhacharya. Yat sakchat satchidanandam pratyagadvayamakriyam tannamami nrisinghasya yogi gamyam parampadam. Now, before starting this topic of Agyan in Sushupti in Naishkarmya Siddhi, which is a very, very technical topic, very important, but nonetheless, we should first understand the context of it as to why it is important to understand the presence or absence of Agyan in Sushupti. Why at all this topic of Agyan is important needs to be understood first. We all know that Vedanta is a moksha shastra. Now, moksha means what? Moksha means freedom. Freedom from what? That should be the first question which every seeker should ask. I am trying to gain moksha, trying to attain moksha. Moksha from what? So the answer is given that freedom from bondage. Now, if I do not appreciate that I am in bondage, how can I desire for freedom? A person, unless he knows that he is in prison, he cannot make effort to get free from that prison. So before this entire initiative of delving into Vedanta, one should honestly ask oneself whether he really feels that he is in bondage. Now, apparently he doesn't feel so. He does whatever he likes. He wants to eat a particular kind of food, he orders and eats. He wants to go to Delhi, he can go. Then what is this bondage? What exactly is the bondage from which Vedanta says that one needs liberation? One needs to analyze again and again. And unless he is clear in his mind that he is in bondage, rest assured that he will not make a sincere effort towards liberation. Because liberation means freedom. So we need to analyze our own experiences of last 30-40 years and see whether I am in bondage. Now, when I analyze my experiences of 30 to 40 years, then I find that all my activities are primarily guided by two factors. The first is fear, and second is desire. Now, fear and desire, they literally shape each and every activity which we carry on in our day-to-day life. Something bad should not happen to me. I should get this. I should get that. This entire, these two factors drive our whole day-to-day activities. So much so that if one analyzes carefully, he will find that these two are basically throttling his neck. Once he appreciates that, he becomes a candidate for desiring liberation. So far he was desiring mundane things. Now he is desiring freedom from this. It remains a desire, How this desire will get annihilated, that is another topic. But the main thing is that desire for liberation is impossible without appreciation of his existing bondage. Once a person appreciates that he is in bondage, he is a candidate for Vedanta. He can come to a teacher. How should I get out of this bondage? Now, once he appreciates that he is in bondage, any rational person with little intelligence will inquire, what is this bondage? If I want to get free from something, first I have to know what is it. Then only I can inquire about the ways and means to get rid of it. He will analyze. Once he analyzes carefully, little bit of help from here and there, one comes to a startling conclusion that this bondage, this formidable problem with which he has been struggling for so long, is an illusion. it it seems very difficult to appreciate at first that this formidable problem of everyday fear and desire, which are throttling his neck, is actually an illusion. Illusion means what? Illusion means something which is appearing but it is actually not there. Like, I see a snake in a rope, I confuse a rope for a snake. I am seeing a snake, my heartbeat is going up. By what? By something which is not actually existent but which is appearing to exist. So this bondage, this formidable problem of fear which is shaping my everyday activity, one phone call is potentially enough to disturb my peace completely. So day to day activities, desire, every activity is driven by desire, which are actually putting me in prison, which is basically the bondage, this problem of fear and desire. This is actually an illusion. Now, illusion, as we saw, that it is something which merely appears while it is actually not. It is a product of ignorance. So this is the first place where ignorance comes into picture, that just like a snake appearing in the rope is a product of ajnana. I will replace the word ignorance by ajnana. Is a product of ajnana. This formidable problem of fear, desire, and my bondage in itself is a product of ajnana, just like snake in the rope. So next question, what should I do? I understood that my bondage is a product of ajnana, but it is very much there. So what to do? So the answer is, Vedanta gives the answer, that it is only the jnana which can give freedom from ajnana, because it is the jnana only who sublates ajnana. Jnana of what? Jnana of self. So I did not know myself. The product was this entire scene, duality, and bondage. So you acquire jnana and then you will become free. This is the scheme of Vedanta. So I will just recap once again. So first, I need to appreciate that I am in bondage. If I do not appreciate my bondage, there is no point of going forward. It will become an intellectual entertainment. So first, deeply, we have to analyze our day-to-day existence. What we are doing, we are going to office, we are eating this food, we are watching a movie, we are doing this, that. Analyze that, appreciate that I am in bondage. Next, once I understood that I am in bondage, then I will inquire, what is this bondage? Let it be an intellectual activity. Let even Vedanta not enter at this place, but I inquire, I inquire and find out by logical analysis that just like a snake in the rope, this bondage is illusory. It is a product of ignorance. But now I am stuck. Stuck because I do not know what to do about it, how to remove this ignorance. So then I go to a Shrotriya Brahmanist guru who gives me jnana from Vedanta. Vedanta means Upanishads. And the jnana attained from or received from the Shrotriya Brahmanist teacher will remove the Ajnana, and then I will situate as my own self. Now, the problem is that even though I have heard from a Shrotriya and Brahmanist guru, still that Ajnana is refusing to go away. So the answer given is that there are pratibandhaka. Pratibandhak means there are things which are causing obstruction in the fruition of that knowledge. So those obstacles are twofold. One is asambhavana and second is viparita bhavana. So I have heard from the teacher, but that is not leading to the fruit of that knowledge. That is cessation of ajnana because of pratibandhaka. So these two pratibandhaka, asambhavana and viparita bhavana, they are removed by manana and nididhyasana. So these are not our topic for today's discourse, but it is very important to understand the context. So I appreciate my bondage. I inquire the bondage that it is a product of ignorance. Then I go to a teacher. I do the shravana. Then I do the manana and nididhyasana. And after that, apratibaddha shravana leads to the fruit of Vedanta, that is moksha. Now, in this context, apart from the Upanishads, there are bhashya on that, and fortunately, to our great blessings, there are several Prakaran Granthas, as the preceding speakers have also spoken about that. Now, these Prakaran Granthas are theoretically aimed to make us eligible to enter the bhashya written by Adi Shankaracharya. They are sort of a supportive tool for us to enter into the vast bhashyas. However, it has been my personal experience that these Prakaran Granthas are sufficient in themselves. They are kind of self-contained code. Everything has been provided there. And if a person is at that sufficient level, at the sufficient level of maturity, even Prakaran Granthas are enough, and there is as such no need for anyone to I mean go into bhashyas are very very important, no doubt about that, and one invariably reads that, but Prakaran Granthas are in themselves quite sufficient. In fact, I will take the example of Vivek Chudamani, for example. Raman Maharshi, I think from Vivek Chudamani itself, there was sufficient knowledge, so no need as such for these are the main point I want to highlight is that they are sufficient in themselves. Now, coming to Naishkarmya Siddhi, which is rather less talked about granthas, we all know about the Prakaran granthas of written by Shankaracharya like Aparoksha Anubhuti, Vivek Chudamani, etc. Naishkarmya Siddhi is not that much talked about grantha. It is written by Sureshwaracharya, who was disciple of Adi Shankaracharya, and his other texts are two main texts. Other texts written by Sureshwaracharya are Vartik on Brihadaranyaka Bhashya and Taittiriya Upanishad Bhashya. And because of the Vartik, he is also known, he is also referred to as Vartikakara. So rather than taking the name Sureshwaracharya, generally we refer to him as Vartikakara. Now, as I said, Naishkarmya Siddhi is a Prakaran Granth. However, if we look at the start as to what does the text deal with, Vartikar writes in that this text is Ashesh Vedanta Sar Sangrah. Ashesh means entire. So entire Upanishads, whatever is the summary, that is contained in Naishkarmya Siddhi. So that itself tells us about the scope of Naishkarmya Siddhi as to what is the ambit of it. He further explains it as to what exactly is this Ashesh Vedanta Sara Sangrah. So he tells that in this book, I am going to talk about four things. One, about anartha. Second, anartha hetu. Third, purushartha. And fourth, purushartha hetu. Now, anarth here refers to anatma, that is agyan karya. And anarth hetu is agyan. Purusharth is moksha. Purusharth hetu is jnana. Because it is only by jnana that we can remove jnana and hence we can get moksha. So now, is there anything left out of these four to be talked about in Vedanta? That is ajnana, ajnana karya, jnana and moksha. The Naishkarmya Siddhi contains the entire thing in itself. Now we are also blessed with a commentary on Naishkarmya Siddhi by none other than Chitsukhacharya. Chitsukhacharya is the celebrated writer of Tattva Pradipika, also called Chitsukhi. It's an extremely difficult text written in the terse and complicated language of Navya Nyaya, that Chitsukhi. However, here he was rather pleased with us and he wrote this Bhav Tattva Prakashika, that is the commentary on Naishkarmya Siddhi, in a very simple and soft Sanskrit, very easy to understand, not like Chitsukhi. And we are also blessed that there is a translation in Hindi of both the Bhav Tattva Prakashika and Naishkarmya Siddhi by Swami Pragyanananda Saraswati ji. That is published by Dakshinamurti Mutt. So that is an absolute must. If we want to really understand Naishkarmya Siddhi in accordance with Advait Sampradaya, so there are some commentaries on Naishkarmya Siddhi which are not in line with Advait Sampradaya, so they are not to be referred to. If we want to understand the Naishkarmya Siddhi in line with Advait Sampradaya, then I think the book by Swami Pragyanananda Saraswati ji is very good and reliable. I will just now give a brief overview of Naishkarmya Siddhi. There are 4 chapters in it. So first chapter basically deals with the idea as to why Jnana only is the entity which will sublate Ajnana. That karma cannot in any case lead to removal of Ajnana. He gives very simple logic. He will harp upon the same point again and again. The point is that karma is Ajnana Karya. So Ajnana Karya can never really negate its cause itself. So Ajnana is the cause of karma. So karma can naturally never remove Ajnana. So neither Jnana Karma Samuchaya also is not capable of removing Ajnana. It is only Jnana which can remove Ajnana. That is the sum and substance of first chapter of Naishkarmya Siddhi. It is also called Moksha Nirupanatmak Adhyaya. Now second chapter is very interesting in the sense it is talking about the first stage of what I was talking, that to appreciate that I am in bondage. So unless I appreciate that I am in bondage, I will never really make a sincere effort for freedom, because I do not appreciate that I am bound. Then why to make effort for freedom? So here he will in the second chapter of Naishkarmya Siddhi, the emphasis is on Atma Anatma Vivek, that is aimed at cultivating vairagya. So that is the sum and substance of second chapter. In third chapter, once I have understood Atma Anatma Vivek, that I am not this, I am Atma, this Anatma is illusory bondage, a Jnana Karya, then I need to make effort for attaining Jnana. So that Jnana is achieved from Mahavakyas. What are the Mahavakyas? Aham Brahmasmi, Tattvamasi, Prajnanam Brahma, Ayam Atma Brahma. So this I need to understand. So for that third chapter is there, and there ends the matter. So basically, Naishkarmya Siddhi 3 chapters are enough, but uh, the Acharya takes up fourth chapter also, and there he says ki Sankhep Vistarabhyam. By doing Sankhep and Vistar, the topic comes. It goes permanently in the head of the seeker. So again, what he does, that all the 3 chapters he puts a summary of that in the fourth chapter, and plus some bit of new concepts also he gives. So that is how the Naishkarmya Siddhi is structured. Now, uh, prior to going to the topic of Ajnana, which will not take much time, the idea is, as we understood, that Anatma, there are 2 entities which are perceived in our day-to-day existence. One is Atma and second is Anatma. Now, what is Atma? Atma is that which is being referred by using the word I. Now, there are 2 things in this world. One is addressed by using the word this table, this spoon, this tree, this chair, this road, this bed. So these things are addressed by using the prefix this. And there is another entity which is never used by the word this, that is used by the word I, which is not this. So the entity which is referred by using the word I is called Atma. The entity which is referred by using the word this is called Anatma. Now, interestingly, I will never confuse a table for I Similarly, I will never confuse a tree for I, but there is an entity to which sometimes I use the word this and sometimes I use the word I, and that is my body and mind. So, body and mind are two entities for which sometimes I use the word this, like this is my body. So, that is like my spoon. So here I am using the word this body, this hand, this I, similar. And sometimes I will use the word I for that. For example, I am tall, I am white. So by so there is a confusion here. That while in case of table I never confuse it, I always use the word this for that. But in case of body and mind, sometimes I use the word this, sometimes I use the word I. So in case of body and mind, there is a confusion between Atma and Anatma. Same entity, sometimes it is used as Anatma, sometimes it is used as Atma. So the second chapter of Naishkarmya Siddhi will do this Atma Anatma Vivek, and it will use a tool which is called Anvay Vyatirek. So by using Anvay Vyatirek, it will be established that look, Atma and Anatma are like chalk and cheese. Atma and Anatma are like light and darkness. There should never be really any confusion about it. Look for example to your Sushupti. Sushupti means deep sleep, where we just do not think anything. There is no perception of any object like table and chair. There are no thoughts there. So in that case, the idea is that Atma exists without Anatma. So now if something can exist without the other, then obviously those two things are like chalk and cheese. They are different. Anatma always requires Atma for its perception, but Atma does not necessarily require Anatma for its perception. Therefore, these two are different. And then it will go and use a logic, and by using that faultless logic it will arrive at the conclusion that anatma is agyan karya. Why the logic used, I will just give a brief example. Lot of hair splitting discussion goes into it. That is vimatam mithya or vimatam agyan karyam दृश्यत्वात् रज्जु सर्पवत. So anatma agyan karyam drishyatvat rajju sarput. So once it is understood that anatma is agyan karya, I will make effort to eradicate agyana by getting jnana. Now at this juncture, our topic starts for today. That what exactly is this agyana? I understood that anatma is agyana karya. I should get freedom from it. But what exactly is this agyana? Where does it reside? What is it about? Do we really perceive it? Do we perceive it like illusory snake? Who perceives it? Etc. So I will take up all these 4 5 topics, and there the role of Sushupti becomes very important. To we actually see Agyana like we see table and chair. So what is Agyana? So that is defined by Chitsukhacharya elsewhere in Tattva Pradipika, but it is very important to just keep it in our mind. What is Agyana? So he would say anadi bhava rupam yat vijnanena viliyate tad agyanam iti pragyah lakshanam samprachakshate. So agyana is that which is beginningless, which is bhava rupa, and which is sublated by agyana. That is the lakshana of agyana. Now bhava rupa means it is abhava vilakshana. It is bhava abhava vilakshana both. So it is different from abhava. Like it is not horns of hair. It is not the 4 kind of abhava like prag abhava and anyonya abhava, atyanta abhava, pradhvans abhava. Similarly, it is neither Brahman, it is nor avidya karya like table and chair. It is different from everything. It is sad asad vilakshana. Now, this agyana, uh, it has Brahman itself, the pure Satchidananda Brahman itself, as its locus and also as its object. When we say that I am ignorant, so there are three basic. It is given the perception of agyana is distinguished in 3 classifications. One is called samanyatah pratyaksha of agyana, general perception of agyana. That is in the form of aham agya, I am ignorant. Mam anyam cha na janami. I do not know myself, I do not know other. That is called samanyata sakshi pratyaksh. Then there is visheshata sakshi pratyaksh twaduktam artham aham na janami. I do not understand what you said. Mimamsaka says shabdo nityah. Then I say, I do not understand what you said. I do not understand the shabdagat nityatva. So this is an example of visheshata sakshi pratyaksh. And then the most interesting everyday experience of all of us, when we wake up from Sushupti and we say etavantam kalam sukham aham aswapsham na kinchit avedisham. I did not know anything in that period of time. I did not know table, I did not know chair, I did not know Amazon rainforest, I did not know anything on earth. I was sleeping blissfully. Now this experience is very important, and it irrefutably proves that there was perception of this bhavarup ajnana in our sushupti. Without the perception of bhavarup ajnana, we cannot have this particular experience which we have after getting up from sushupti, and we say that etavantam kalam na kinchit avedisham. Now, where does this ajnana reside? Now, as we understood that anatma is ajnana karya. Why? Because it is illusory, like a illusory snake in the rope. Now, anatma being ajnana karya, ajnana kalpitam, imagined by ignorance, cannot be the locus, that is substratum of ajnana, because it is a product of ajnana. Anything which is a product of ajnana cannot be either the locus or the object of ajnana. This has been categorically stated in third chapter of Naishkarmya Siddhi, where Acharya says, Anatmanah Ajnana Prasutatvat. Since Anatma is prasut, born out of Ajnana, therefore it cannot be Ashraya or Vishaya of Ajnana. So what the Parisheshyat, then whatever is remaining, what is remaining other than Anatma, that is Atma. So Atma itself is the Ashraya and Vishaya of Ajnana. Now, having said that, who perceives this ajnana? Now, we saw that pramata, that the jiva, is a product of avidya. So a product of avidya cannot perceive avidya. So again, parisheshyat, it is the sakshi who perceives the ajnana. So the pratyaksh of ajnana is by sakshi. Now sakshi has been defined by Vartikara in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. Very clearly, he says कि अज्ञान मात्र उपाधित्वात् अविद्याम उषितात्मभे कौटस्थ्यात निर्द्वयो अपि आत्मा साक्षी इति उच्यते अध्यस्यते जडः. So that pure Brahman is stated as Sakshi because of only Agyan as Upadhi, Agyan Matra Upadhitvat. So Anandagiri Swami clarifies it very well. One can go there and study. So the Agyan Upahit Chaitanya is defined as Sakshi. That Sakshi does the perception of Agyana. Also in Sushupti. So now Vartikara in Naishkarmya Siddhi, I will give little fast quotations from Naishkarmya Siddhi so that people can go and refer to it. Uh, he would define Sushupti as Agyana. He writes कि Sushupti Akhyam Tamo Agyanam Bijam Swapna Prabodhayo. So there he says कि what is known as Sushupti, that is Agyana. Then in third chapter of 57th shloka, he clearly says कि if there is no Agyana in Sushupti, in that case, uh, uh, I did not know then cannot be stated after waking up. So therefore he makes a phenomenal statement, tasmat avashyam sushupte agyanam abhyapgantavyam. Therefore mandatorily you have to accept agyana in sushupti. However, he says ki, Acha, if I had perceived agyana in sushupti, then why it was not avyavahit pratyaksh, why it was not immediately perceived by me, just as in Jagrat I do, that I do not know raga, I do not know dvesh, I do not know ghat. So I say ki ghat agyanam, I am ignorant of the pot. I am seeing raga. I am seeing dvesh. Why it was not like that? So that Naishkarmya Siddhi mein it is explained that it is because of absence of abhivyanjaka in the form of antahkaran. Since antahkaran was not present, therefore there was no sphuta pratipatti, there was no vivid experience of ajnana, just as we have in the case of jagrata. There is a little confusion arising after that, because of which some commentators have taken a different views that there is no ajnana in sushupti, but that is stated only because of absence of sphuta pratipatti. Sometimes sushupti is said to be absent of ajnana, but this is not the case, because already acharya has said that tasmat sushupti avashyam Agyanam Abhyupagantavyam. We have to accept Agyana in Sushupti. However, since there was no manifestation of that Agyana, as in the case of waking, in the form of I am ignorant, therefore it becomes a suitable candidate as an illustration for moksha. Because in moksha also we are not having this vyavahara, I am ignorant. Similarly, in Sushupti also we are not having this vyavahara. So Sushupti becomes an eligible candidate, a drishtanta, an illustration for moksha. So there is no confusion in this regard. There is a Sakshi Pratyaksh of Agyana in Sushupti, and that we have through Agyana Vritti. That is not explained in Naishkarmya Siddhi, that is explained in Vivran. But sum and substance is we experience Agyana in Sushupti, and therefore uh, we experience Agyana in Sushupti, and there is Sakshi Pratyaksh, and that is the cause of my sorrow, my fear, my desire. And in order to attain freedom from that, I need to go to a Shrotriya Brahmanishta Guru to attain Jnana, and therefore negate Agyana and attain moksha.
Thank you very much, Sudhanshuji, for a very wonderful presentation on a difficult topic. I think I know the 30 minutes is not at all enough to speak on Agyana, but still you fantastically introduced the key concepts of the topic. Thank you very much.
Thank you.